Hi, John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm. Today we're going to talk about whether you should set up a trust, but first make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We put out new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and make sure that you hit the like button because every like helps. John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm. To tell you a little bit about myself, I am the author of Estate Planning for the Modern Family, and I was recently voted one of the top 3 lawyers here in Cobb County, Georgia, along with the law firm being voted one of the top 3 law firms here in Cobb County, Georgia. Well, today we're going to talk about whether you should set up a trust. Well, that is a very interesting question. It's something that I get all the time. What is a trust? Well, a trust is simply a legal arrangement where someone or some company holds property for the benefit of another person. And so the person holding the property is called the trustee, and the person receiving the benefit of the property, believe it or not, they're called a beneficiary. So those are some of the people that are involved in the creation and establishment and the maintenance of a trust. And so there are probably 25 to 30 different types of trusts here in Georgia. You've got things called the revocable living trust. That is probably one of the most popular trusts that are out there. You've got asset protection trusts. They're not really allowed here in Georgia, but there are things you can do to protect your assets. There's something called a supplemental needs trust. This is a type of trust that will help people who want to leave something to their children, but perhaps the children has a special need that they're receiving government benefits for. There's something called the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. This is something that will help you, keep you from losing your home to nursing home poverty. And so there's all different types of trusts out there. So the question about whether you should have a trust, you really should ask, well, what is your goal with your estate planning? If your goal is to make it easy on your family when that day comes for you, then the revocable living trust is really the best way to go with that. If you have a pet that you want to take care of when you pass away, well, obviously the best way to do that is with a pet trust. Believe it or not, I do about 4 or 5 pet trusts a year. If you have a special needs child that you want to take care of, well, then having a supplemental needs trust provision in your trust, or just establishing a standalone supplemental needs or special needs trust, is the way to go with that. So what you really need to do is ask, what are your goals when it comes to your estate planning? So now, again, there are probably 25 to 30 different types of trusts out there. Here are some of the main benefits to having a trust in place. The main benefit to having a trust in place is avoiding probate. Probate can be lengthy, it can be costly, and there are a lot of advantages to trusts over last wills and testament. Avoiding probate is the #1 advantage. So avoiding probate, what that allows is it allows your family to get their inheritances quicker. Usually it takes several months to several years for children to get their inheritances when it has to go through the probate process. Well, they can usually get that within a few weeks to maybe a month when you set up the revocable living trust. So it's a great way to make sure that your children get their inheritances quicker. And it's private, so trusts are designed to avoid the probate process, where wills are designed to take you through the probate process. So with the trust, it doesn't get filed down at the courthouse when you pass away, so it is a great way to keep the things that you have private. Nobody has to know what you have, and nobody has to know who's getting it. So it will often help cut down on family squabbles because it costs nothing to contest a will. That happens a lot, but if you're going to contest a trust, oftentimes you have to hire a lawyer and you have to pay for that lawyer out of your own pocket to contest it. So people are much less likely to contest trusts over wills. And so there are a lot of advantages to trust. So you just really need to think about, what is the goal that you want to accomplish when you set up your estate plan? And if the answer is that, well, I just want to make things easier on my family when that day comes for me, well, then perhaps the trust is the way to go for you. Well, if you've watched any of our videos for any length of time, you know what we do here is we help people set up estate plans. And so what we've done to help with that is that we have established written a book called the Estate Planning for the Modern Family. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a copy of that book. And so I'll put a link in the description below where you can go and purchase a copy of that book for yourself. It's a great place to start when it comes to estate planning. Well, if you want to learn a little bit more about the firm, or perhaps you want to schedule a free consultation for yourself, the way you should do that is there's a link in the description that you can set up the consultation, or you can simply call us at 678-809-4922. That's 678-809-4922. But again, that is a great way to set up a free consultation with us. So just reach out to us either by phone or use the link in the description below. All right, so that's really all we have for today. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Again, we put out new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and make sure that you hit the like button because every like helps.